Good afternoon. We are now live on the YouTube channel. I'm going to call the order of the Elyria Planning Commission for Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 to order. Roll call, Mr. Aden.
Present.
Mr. Battle.
Present.
Mr. Hubbard.
Here.
Mr. Onderko. Director Panowski. Here. Mayor Brubaker here. Mr. Tedrow.
Here.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as distributed for May 4, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Aden.
Second.
Second by Mr. Battle. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. There is no new business and there is no old business. We'll go right to public hearings. Just for point of reference, item number 4 on today's agenda, which may not be on the revised agenda, it was public hearing 2025-100029, Jeanette Sanctuary Foundation at 38780 Chestnut Ridge Road has been removed from the agenda per the proponent's request. So we will not be discussing that item here today. With that being said, the next item on the agenda is public hearing 2025-100026, University Hospitals, Elyria Medical Center, 620 East River Street, Elyria, Ohio, 44035, requesting for a rezone from R-TH Residential 2 Household to BG Business General. Is the proponent here? Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record, please.
You hear me? Here we go. Hi there. Good morning. My name is Gordon Gann. I'm counsel for University Hospitals Elyria Medical Center, which is located at 630 East River Street, and the adjoining parcel 620 East River Street is the parcel that I know we're addressing first here. The request today for both parcels is hopefully a relatively simple one. We're looking to rezone to align with the actual current use. It appears that somewhere along the way in the history, we're not sure exactly where, the properties were left zoned residential 2 household, which obviously aligns with the surrounding neighborhood, but doesn't align with the actual use. So presently, the 2 parcels are non-conforming. The parcels include both the main hospital acute care facility, the main campus, as well as the old McKinley School, which was acquired by the hospital recently and is currently in the planning stages of being used for supporting facilities for the hospital.
Great. Thank you. We're going to go to staff reports. Mr. Farkas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, the applicant is requesting the properties located at 620 East River Street, parcel number 0625074-101-001, and 630 East River Street, parcel number 0625075-101-017, be rezoned from a residential 2 household district to a business general district. The applicant is seeking a rezoning of this property to align with the current use of the site, a hospital use as defined in section 112542 of the codified ordinance. I've listed for the board's use the requirements for an RTH district currently and the proposed business general district, which defines the uses that are permitted. My recommendations are as follows. The proposal for 630 East River aligns with the current use of the actual site, hospital, and will correct the current non-conforming status of this property. The proposal of 620 East River is also in conformance with the current zoning code, as a former school educational use building on the site is permitted outright in a BG district per section 116002J. In closing, I'm in favor of the request for the zoning. The current zoning of the site was one of those transitions that were made many years ago. And we're in the same boat now with our zoning rewrite of how to fix that and better align. This will correct a non-conforming status that has been long-standing for many years. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farkas. Mr. Schoening, anything to add?
Nothing to add on my end. Thank you.
Mr. Schneider, engineering?
Engineering has no comments.
Mr. Gall, Fire Chief Gall?
The fire department has no comment.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? I do have one. Mr. Schoening or Mr. Farkas, if I'm not mistaken, this was also being looked at as a part of our entire rezoning package across the city, correct? And as a part of that package, this likely would have, would be a part of the rezoning as we move forward. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. The proposed zoning for this property is commercial, and emergency and medical services would be permitted outright.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions from the committee before we go to proponents or opponents? Mr. Director Panowski?
Thank you. For the proponent, I just want to make sure, because you have two applications here, and I know we'll get to the next one after we get through the first one. But I want to make sure that I've got this right, because there's 3 parcels referenced between the two of them, and this might become more relevant with the next application. But this one is only addressing the one parcel, this particular application, 0625074101001. Is that correct, this first application we're discussing?
That is correct, yes.
All right, I just want to make sure for the record that we keep track of which one's part of what.
Yep.
Because the other 2 must be part of the other application. I just want to clarify that.
And if I can clarify one point about that, there's three parcels that are referenced. One is a eastern surface parking lot that we're actually tabling for right now. We're going to be coming back for a zoning request. That parcel, as it is actually 7 separate parcels, even though it is practically one combined surface lot. So we're evaluating combination of those parcels in the future, and then we'll come back and request rezone through one application for that after they're combined, if that's...
Very good. That resolves my concern that I saw forthcoming, because I didn't see that as part of an application per se, although it was mentioned.
Yep.
So that addresses my concern overall. Thank you.
Nope, my pleasure.
Any other questions from the committee? Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Okay. Public hearing 2025-100026, University Hospitals Elyria Medical Center, 620 East River Street, Elyria, Ohio, 44035, requesting for a rezone from R-TH Residential 2 Household to BG Business General. Do I have a motion to approve? Moved by Mr. Aden. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tedrow. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is public hearing 2025-100027, University Hospitals Elyria Medical Center, 630 East River Street, Elyria, Ohio, 44035, requesting for a rezone from R-TH Residential 2 Household to BG Business General. Proceed.
Again, Gordon Gant, Counsel for University Hospitals, and just would restate for the record all of the rationale that was provided for the last parcel applies here in the same for this parcel.
Great, thank you. Are there any comments from Mr. Farkas any further?
No, Mr. Chair. My past memo applied to both requests. Thank you.
Mr. Snowing?
No further comments.
Engineer Schneider?
Engineering has no comments.
Assistant Chief Gall?
No comments.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Okay. Are there any proponents? Go ahead, I'm sorry, Mr. Aden.
So I'm not sure, I didn't look at the map, but is that parcel there, is that like 15 or 16 acres where McKinley was on?
I'm not certain of the exact acreage, but this parcel is the main hospital building.
I thought we just approved that one. Oh, I just got it backwards.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was
forget
the old McKinley School. This is the main hospital.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Seeing none, I entertain a motion for 2025-100027, University Hospitals Elyria Medical Center, 630 East River Street, Elyria, Ohio, 44035. Request for a rezone from R-TH Residential 2 Household to B-G Business General. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hubbard, second by Mr. Aden. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. So both of these motions have passed Planning Commission, and the next step would be for it to go to Community Development, and you'll be notified by the Planning Commission Secretary when that is.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
The next item on the agenda is public hearing 2025-100028, Ridgewater Development, 101 Brunswick Drive, a request for a variance from section 1179.04 of the Elyria Codified Ordinance for 7.2 units per acre as opposed to the required 5 units per acre. Is the proponent here? Mr. Yost?
Bob Yost, 260 South Logan, Ridgewater Development. We previously had this, at least I thought done, approved by Planning Commission last 2 months, two meetings ago. But we did not actually apply for the variance on the density. So Darrell and I communicated in regards to that, and we agreed to come back and ask for that as a separate line item.
Okay, great, thank you. Staff reports, Mr. Farkas?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. The applicant is requesting a variance for unit lot density for the new subdivision located on Brunswick Drive and West Ridge Road to construct single-family cluster-type homes consisting of 4 to 6 family residences per cluster. The project has a total of 50 residential units proposed. My findings: the subdivision is located in a residential medium-density district, the requirements of which can be found in the codified ordinance section 1144. On 10/24/24, a cluster development was approved via conditional use process, PC case number 2024-100150. The site consists of 6.93 acres, of which is permitted to be covered with 5 dwelling units per acre. With the acreage available, the total of 35 single-family units would be permitted. The applicant is requesting to install 50 units, triggering the need for a variance. Staff recommendations. I recommend the petition for the variance be approved as it coincides with past subdivision submittals of a similar request. Thank you.
Mr. Farkas, Mr. Schoening?
No further comments?
Engineer Schneider?
Engineering has no comments.
Assistant Fire Chief Gall?
And the fire department has no comment.
Okay, any questions from the committee? Director Panowski?
So I have a comment, and I guess it's directed towards Mr. Farkas more so. When I looked at this, one of the questions I had is what did we talk about last time, and how did this not, how we're not covering it? So I appreciate the explanation from Mr. Yost. But in the report from Mr. Farkas, it talks about how it coincides with past subdivision submittals, so he's in favor of it, and I can appreciate that. I would just ask that anytime we have a request like this, we always evaluate it on a case-by-case basis, and let's not fall too far down a path of, there's a precedent of we've done it before, so let's just do it again. We should always be looking whether it's appropriate for the space that's there. So I would just ask that we always give that a fair evaluation, because this is a deviation from the rules, and which I think we all recognize, which is why we're here. But I have a sensitivity to the density issue of some of these developments, and so I like to make sure that I ask that we always evaluate them and give them a fair review on a case-by-case basis, that's all. And I'm certain you do, I just, during that, just wanted the point to mention as we see these more and more.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Chris. As I review these, I do take in consideration the locations, as the proposed subdivision does abut 2 streets. It doesn't affect or adversely affect many adjacent parcels, and there's some farmland behind, so that was in consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farkas. Are there any proponents? Proponent or opponent? Please come. Would you like to speak? Okay, great. Are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion for 2025-100028 Ridgewater Development, 101 Brunswick Drive. Request for a variance from section 1179.04 of the Leary Codified Ordinances for 7.2 units per acre as opposed to the required 5 units per acre. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Panowski. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Second by Mr. Tedrow. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Mr. Yost, you know how it works. You'll be back here at Community Development. Next item on the agenda is public hearing 2025-100030, SG Taylor LLC of 910 Taylor Street, Unit C, Elyria, Ohio 44035, a request for conditional use for personal services. They're a proponent. Come forward, please. Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Jeremy Mullen, the address of the facility, 910 Taylor Street, Unit C, Elyria, Ohio 44035.
Okay, and please share us what you're looking for today.
So I just conditional variance to be allowed to have clients meet me at my facility so that I'm able to have recording sessions of just video and audio.
Okay. Staff reports, Mr. Farkas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. The proponent is requesting a conditional use to accommodate an office that will cater to recording sessions, take videos, showcase services for clients, and promote on social media. Note, the applicant's submittal includes a request of the following: change light fixtures, one door, installation of a shelf. The items will be addressed under separate submittal via the 2024 Ohio Building Code Plan Approval process in response to the issuance of a cease and desist order issued 3/3/25. Zoning. The site is currently zoned heavy industrial district, of which I listed the requirements. I've listed for the board the principally permitted uses, and one under the conditionally permitted uses is personal services, which this will align with. My findings. The proposed business best fits a personal service use per the Elyria Codified Ordinance Definition, Section 1125.72, listed herein. This is contingent. The site is not utilized as a research and development, restaurant, tavern, lounge, or other similar use as defined in the codified ordinance. As those uses are not permitted as a permitted accessory or conditionally permitted use, and therein is prohibited per Section 1123.05. The proposed use is acceptable as a conditionally permitted use per Elyria Codified Ordinance, Section 1164.04D, and best fits the definition listed herein. My findings. The current site plan provided for the property is missing a detailed parking lot drawing to scale, dimensionalized, of which delineates the parking stalls, parking stall count, stall orientation, width, curb, aisles, etc. And then the request, if approved, must be provided as to assure the personal service use aspect conforms to the codified parking requirements. The above information listed herein is for the board's use and consideration, as the board must weigh the requirements currently established in the pre-existing surrounding heavy industrial district in regards to the uses permitted. As the current site and building has multiple purposed mixed storage and manufacturing uses and abuts other commercial businesses. If the conditional use is approved, the applicant must apply for plan approval via the 2024 Ohio Building Code application submittal process, provide drawings and obtain an approval permit, and have the site inspected to receive a certificate of occupancy prior to use, as this request will not accomplish that goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farkas. Mr. Schoening?
No further comments.
Engineer Schneider?
Engineering has no comments.
Assistant Fire Chief Gall?
Fire department has no comment at this time.
Great. Jeremy, Ms. Moen, if you come back up to the mic and kind of share for the committee. I mean, we've met a couple times, and I understand what you're trying to do here, but for the benefit of the commission, can you kind of share what your business is, what you're looking to do, give some detail to that so they have a better understanding?
So
please.
I'm in the entertainment business. I am what's called a mobile DJ service. I provide sound reinforcement, speakers, entertainment, and so on for large-scale events, weddings. Also, we provide entertainment at bars, trivia nights, karaoke nights, things of that nature. We have about 8 employees, and we do about 25 to 30 shows per week throughout Lorain and Cuyahoga County areas. The other thing we're looking to do is within this facility is to be able to have our clients meet us here. We meet with a lot of people for weddings and things. They have a place to sit down, meet, and showcase the services we do. Have, you know, here is our kind of like a mini showroom. Here's the lights that we use. Here's the speakers that we use. Here's what we can use for your facility. Additionally, we have rooms that are set up for recording. So we do a lot of online recording for Facebook, Instagram. We are monetized online. We make money by producing content. We are content producers. So we have rooms that are set up for pictures, cameras, things where we can take videos and post them online. Additionally, we are looking to create a recording studio where we can bring in, since it's heavy industrial, we can make noise, and it has a great acoustics in the building to be able to record instruments and music, mix them, and provide recordings for local artists.
Great, thank you. Can you describe for the commission too where this building is on Taylor Street?
Yes, so we're very close to the corner of Abbey and Taylor. If you're familiar with the Hands-On Car Wash building, it's the back side of that building. It's right across from wherever that dump kind of thing is on the corner.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that building is, but lots of people come and go every day.
Thank you, Jeremy. Are there any questions
Absolutely.
from the commission? Mr. Prowski?
For Mr. Farkas, your report indicates it's Site plan is basically insufficient, the one that's currently submitted. So two questions. First, is this something that we can move forward with without having an updated site plan, number one? And number two, if the answer is yes to that, will an updated site plan be part of the next step of the process, which is when he applies for plan approval? Will that be required there and maybe satisfactory then?
Mr. Chair, through you, the board could continue as once a site plan is received, it may trigger separate variances depending on the parking count because of the change in the use of that district to personal services. So from that aspect, if it were submitted and clearly delineated, it may trigger something else that could be heard at maybe the Board of Zoning Appeals. Hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you. Any other questions from the commission? Mr. Farkas, I do have a question. So this is really just one step to where he ultimately would like to get to, is that correct?
Yes, sir. This is the first step in regards to getting through the zoning process, then the building code process takes over.
Okay, great. And Mr. Moen, you fully understand that, correct?
I'm aware, yes.
I had a question too. as
Pedro?
well. Jeremy?
Yes.
So if we get through this today and get you approved on what you're trying to accomplish, he had a list of things that are going to be upcoming.
Correct.
You feel like you can meet every one of those criteria moving forward?
Yes, I've already met with the mayor and Mr. Farkas and Mr. Schoenig, and we've discussed a plan. I understand what the next steps are, what I need to do.
All right, okay, all right.
Any other questions from the committee? Are there any other proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve 2025-100030 SG Taylor LLC, 910 Taylor Street, Unit C, Elyria, Ohio 44035, a request for conditional use for personal services. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Aden. Do I have a second?
Tedrow.
Second by Mr. Tedrow. Any further discussion? All in favor signify aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Moen. Thank you, Mr. Moen. Next item on the agenda is public hearing 2025-100031. Rodney Hilton, Express Asphalt Solutions of 131 William Street, requesting a rezone from R-TH Residential 2 Household to L-I Light Industrial. Is the proponent here? Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Justin Miller. Address is 419 East Avenue, second floor. I'm counsel for Rodney Hilton. Express Asphalt location is 131 Williams Avenue, Elyria, Ohio.
Right. Thank you. Please state your request.
Well, the request is to rezone 6 of the 12 parcels that the owner currently owns from RTH to L1. This is the site that was formerly the Blue Star Recycling Facility. During some point, the 6 southern parcels ending in 006 through 011 were rezoned to residential. There are existing structures on parcels 006 through 010 with a vacant area on parcel 011. There is a residential structure south of that on 012. We were asking to have those 6 parcels 006 through 011 rezoned to allow for improvements to the property. There is no intention of having any chemicals or noxious items stored. The intent is entirely to have offices, make improvements, update some of the issues, including fire suppression, and to store my clients' asphalt equipment and vehicles. But they would be retrieving the actual supplies from a third party. So there would be no storage of any other items or chemicals on the property, which is much different than the previous owner, which was the metal recycling center, which ended up being somewhat of a nuisance to everybody else. There are 3 different categories in the 12 parcels owned by Express Asphalt. 5 of them are L1, 1 is H1, and the 6 that we are here for are RTH. So we're asking to rezone those 6 to allow for some uniformity between the parcels, to have them returned back to a previous state and to conform with the structures that have been there for quite some time.
Great, thank you. Staff reports, Mr. Farkas?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. The proponent is requesting the site, multiple sites be rezoned, which I've listed herein. Some of the parcels are zoned residential 2-household district. Others are heavy industrial. The site is intended to house a commercial asphalt vehicles and office space for the company. The applicant indicates no hazardous or noxious chemicals or substances will be housed on the property. I have listed the current zoning classification of the parcels in questions for the board's use. Would also like to comment a typo on the second one from the bottom. Instead of 069, that parcel should be 068, just for the board's use. I have also listed on page 2 of the report the requirements of the current residential household district. I've listed the requirements of the current heavy industrial district. I furthermore listed the requirements of the light industrial district, which goes down all the permitted uses and the requirements listed therein. On page 3 of my report, I have listed my future concerns with this review. In past meeting with the applicant, the topic of the potential variances being required were discussed. If the site was rezoned to light industrial, it would evoke multiple variances being required due to the close proximity of the sites to the existing abutting residential districts, not affecting this particular request. This will require separate submittal of an accurate site plan listing the current setback of the existing structures from the site property lines. It was also mentioned that a replat consolidation would be needed as the current structures of the site cross over many existing parcels and sublots of record. This would assure that one new parcel address of the property is assigned and the new zoning classification, if approved. This process can be completed after the rezoning process is approved via City Council. Recommendations. Per the information provided in past discussions with the applicant, the proposed use is specific to storage of equipment and use of the office space. Also, the site will not have asphalt materials, tars, substances, materials, processing, etc., as that was indicated to best fit a heavy industrial use or special industrial use via the conditional use process. This process would also evoke a stringent setback due to the abutting residential districts if pursued. With the new information on hand, the proposed rezoning is a moderate transition to the current location, as it would abut some existing heavy industrial and light industrial districts, even though the neighborhood is primarily residential/non-conforming. The above information listed is for the board's use and consideration, as the board must weigh the requirements of the currently existing in the pre-established residential district in regards to the limited uses permitted, as a zoning change, if approved, would allow any permitted use in the light industrial district in the future. In closing, I support the change, but caution the board will have no control to limit the permitted uses indicated in the light industrial if approved. As a brief history of this site, as many recall, the site was proposed many years ago to be changed to heavy industrial. It was going to be a high-end auto salvage recycling, which was not conducive to the area in question. This request is a lesser of the concerns and would better fit the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farkas. Mr. Schoening?
No further comments.
Engineer Schneider?
Engineering has no report.
Assistant Fire Chief Gall?
Fire Department has no comment.
Questions from the commission? Mr. Aden?
Oh, so what, if the zoning was changed to light industrial, what is permitted in that?
Mr. Chair, through you to Mr. Aden. On page 2 of the report, I've listed the permitted uses of the light industrial, and I'll read them as follows. Automotive repair and services, building material related trades, cellular communication sites, contract construction services, light manufacturing and storage, lock and store warehouses, off-premise signs, printing and publishing, public utility yards, research and development laboratories, truck terminals, warehousing, wholesale business, call centers, and any other use determined by the building inspector to be of the same general characteristic.
Thank you, and I have one more question, may I ask? So I thought we were going to talk about the zoning today, so I was busy trying to get everything copied. So I rushed out and left all my paperwork for this. So I apologize for that. And so to look at the map, the R2 district, is that all north of like Buckeye Street, is it?
Mr. Chair, through you, the Buckeye Street is a mix of light industrial. You have, if you're on William Street, there's 3 parcels that are on the corner of William and Buckeye, and
Oh, it's
then it
coming up
immediately
this way
turns to
into the neighborhood.
RTH. And across the street is identical.
Mr. Farkas, Mr. Aiden is looking at the topographical map that you sent. Can you kind of walk him through where it's highlighted in yellow? Yes, that one.
Mr. Aiden, if you look at the map at the intersection of Buckeye and Williams, you can see on the right-hand side the parcels in question labeled A, B, C, D, E, and F. Those are the parcels in question for rezone that are currently RTH. Further south, we have a mix of RTH, Business General, and then to the east, off I think it's Sumner, is HI. Across the street to the west on William Street, we have light industrial, light industrial, light industrial, light industrial, and then RTH. Those existing residential homes are non-conforming. They were plugged in years ago. They were just grandfathered in. Trying to fix this zoning, this will be more in line with the area in question. I hope that helps.
Sorry. What's the requirement for setbacks when it's light industrial that's meeting a non-conforming residential district?
The requirements for setbacks, anytime it abuts a residential district, is 50 feet.
50?
50 feet, and that's why the need for an accurate site plan is needed. As the previous case, they're going to have to seek variances, guaranteed out of one area. I'm not sure on the others, because the Lorraine County map measuring tool gives you a plus or minus, and I tried to do that to help them out, but I will need an accurate site plan, triggering variances.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aiden. Any other questions from the commission? Director Panowski?
Thank you. Mr. Farkas, my concern was kind of touched on with that last question by Mr. Aiden. And, you know, we're removing, if we approve this, some residential two-household, zoning here, and that provides a buffer space between the residential properties that are being resided in and just where this property is going to be operating. So, you know, that setback of 50 feet is something. In the packet, it indicated or suggested that the surrounding property owners were notified. I think that's part of this process. I don't see any of them here today because I'm familiar with who's in the crowd. But have we heard from anybody? Have we gotten any feedback or concerns expressed?
Mr. Chair, through you, I have heard nothing, but I will defer to the Planning Commission Secretary.
I was out of the office on vacation last week, but going through my emails and my voicemails, I did not hear from anybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the commission? Okay. Are there any other proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Any opponents? Any opponents? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve 2025-100031, Rodney Hilton Express Asphalt Solutions, 131 William Street, request to rezone from an R-TH residential two-household to LI light industrial. Do I have a motion? Moved by Mr. Tedder. Do I have a second? Second, Director Krowski. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.
Nay.
One nay. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The next item on the agenda is the amendment to relevant ordinances for the adult use marijuana facilities within the city limits, and I believe that will be by Law Director Deary and Assistant Law Director Bruning. And as they come forward, Mr. Aden had referred to the zoning updates. We will be doing that at the May meeting. Mr. Bruning?
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Assistant Law Director Eric Brunig, 131 Court Street, Elyria, Ohio. I'm here to address something that has been on the books with the General Assembly effective last year, but the city has had a moratorium on, and that is adult use cannabis facilities. We have to address it at some point, and that time has come. We have proposed, and you have in your packets, some proposed amendments to our zoning ordinances to permit adult use cannabis facilities, essentially at the same locations that would be co-located with medical marijuana facilities in the city. We have had medical marijuana as permitted uses, conditionally permitted uses in business general, light industrial, and heavy industrial for several years now, I think going back to 2018 or so. We have designed the adult use cannabis facilities to be co-located with medical marijuana facilities. That would be a prerequisite to facilities gaining licensure, would be to have medical marijuana conditional use approval. So that would be an additional requirement. So it would be in the same types of areas. This is an area of law that is sort of in flux right now. I'm sure you've all heard noise at the state level about the General Assembly probably looking to change the parameters of adult use cannabis that was enacted, I think, in 2023 by initiative petition with the state. That will probably come into play at some point, maybe around the same time as we do a comprehensive zoning overhaul. This is, in essence, a stopgap solution. We need to address this because, we had a one-year moratorium on permitting adult use cannabis facilities. We're nearing the end of that moratorium period. We do want to have something on the books, though I would caution you that whatever we put in place, and what we have in front of you is, again, what our proposal is, but whatever we put in place will probably have to change at some point in the future, possibly the near future, depending on what both the General Assembly does and what our comprehensive zoning overhaul, which we do have people here who are more involved in that process than I am, but that will probably come into play as well. With that, I'd entertain any questions from the commission or the audience.
Thank you, Mr. Bruning. Any questions from the commission? Director Pronowski?
Thank you. You kind of answered this question, but I want to just make sure it's clear, or I want to get clarity. You said that, medical marijuana licensure or approval would be a precondition to getting it for recreational, or adult use, I'm sorry, I know that's the phrase. And I read that, and that was my concern with the way it's laid out. So would somebody be able to do that process simultaneously, or would you have to get one and then literally start over again to get for the other if the state has issued you a license for both?
No, if the state issues, that's a good question, and I guess we'll still work out those kinks, and that'll probably be a procedural issue that you guys will have to deal with more often than I'll have to deal with. But my interpretation of that would be you could apply for both simultaneously. Now, I will say that I neglected to mention in my initial presentation, I apologize for this, that per council's request when we initially presented this to them, and this is all, based on council members' direction, by the way. We put this together based on input from them at a public meeting that occurred last year in 2024, or at 2024. But this would be limited in the city to 2 adult use cannabis permits at any one time. So we have a cap on those. So I have 2 answers to your question, Mr. Pianowski. One is for future, uses, assuming we haven't hit that cap, that 2-use cap, and right now we just have 1, I believe. So we could have 1 extra one. Future ones could apply for both at the same time. Have to?
Ponderosa,
Thought we only had one.
Sugar
Okay.
Ridge or whatever. Yeah, Sugar- That's a, yeah.
Different classifications.
Yes.
Right.
I think we currently have two
We
facilities.
do, we do.
Okay,
And
all
I
right.
was just corrected, and I apologize.
That's
for
fine.
that.
My follow-up question was actually going to be, or, a statement and then a question. And it's my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that, all of this is dependent on the facility being issued a license by the state, who determines geographically and otherwise how many licenses might be in a particular area. I don't know if they do it literally by city or space or how they do it. So nothing's going to happen with us until the state, here's, I guess is my question, do they have to get the license from the state first before they come to us to get zoned to open the shop up? Is that, how does that work timing-wise, to the extent you know?
Yeah, and I don't know if you have an opinion on that. I believe that they would probably have to at least be in process, with that license. With the medical, I can tell you the way it worked with the medical is that they had a conditional approval, I suppose, from the state is the way I would put it. That's not the right terminology, the way the statute's written, but that's essentially how it worked, was they got a provisional license, then they went through their local zoning code applications and everything else, and then we were able to issue a final licensure after they, had achieved their preliminary status with the state and then confirmed the local conformities. This referendum that was put on didn't address all of those procedural issues that the more comprehensive medical marijuana statutory scheme did address. So there were a lot of holes in, and I'm talking about the state statutory scheme, not the local one. We had a lot more guidance when we put together the medical marijuana, scheme from there. I guess my answer is I don't have an answer
That's
to
fine,
that
thank you.
question, because again, the state statutory scheme as it currently exists doesn't provide that.
And one last question. Are we in any way going to restrict the number of facilities that we're going to allow in Elyria in this construction that we're doing? So in the event, say for instance, the state were to issue a third license or authorize a third license within our jurisdiction, would we limit it to 2, or is it just going to allow for whatever the state authorizes? I would like to, if we haven't thought about that, I just would like to have that clearly in there somehow.
We do have a cap of 2, okay, but again, there is the potential of having that preempted by, general laws in the state. So if the state does issue more and the statutory scheme is amended, then our limitation, our cap, might be preempted by the state law.
So, and just to add on to that, at the same time, should our local council, if we are not preempted, decide that 2 is not the optimum number, whether that's for dispensaries or, and just so we're clear, this also covers other facilities as well. We have a processing facility, Cultivate is out on Murray Ridge. Is that correct, Mr. Farkas? Okay, as well. So this does also cover all levels of licensures. The average person, thinks of dispensaries, but the state does license, and our statute or ordinance scheme in the zoning does cover all aspects of medical and adult use marijuana business. If, let's just say, the city were to decide, and it is not preempted by the state, that 3 is the number, that is something then that could be amended. But 2 was the number that was utilized for the medical marijuana legislation, and we tracked that legislation very closely when it was amended to introduce dual use, to allow for also adult use, AKA recreational. Oh, I'm sorry. Amanda Deary, Deery, 131 Court Street, Elyria.
Thank you, Law Director. Are there any other questions from the commission? So I do have a question for either Assistant Law Director Bruning or Mr. Craig, Legal Counsel. What is the action that we're doing here today? Are we voting on anything? Is this an update? Is this a public hearing?
This is a public hearing.
Okay.
And the action requested would be to recommend to council the passage of amendments to the zoning ordinance in accordance with the packet that, you've received. Normally, we ask for a little more clarity from you, and it's, on these motions, we've drafted the legislation already. This has come from our office. So what we're looking for is approval from the Planning Commission of the scheme of ordinances that we've put together in order to permit adult-use cannabis in the zoning classifications that we've requested. That's BG, LI, and HI. Prerequisites being a conditional use for medical marijuana facility, and that there be no more than 2 permitted in the city.
Since it is a public hearing, I will go through staff reports for any updates. Mr. Farkas?
Mr. Chair, I have no report.
Mr. Schoening?
No further comments.
Engineer Schneider?
Engineering has no comments.
Assistant Chief Gall?
The fire department has no comment.
Okay. Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Seeing none, Ms. Tomsky, do we have a public hearing number, or do I just go on to 32 on this? Okay. So I'll make it public hearing number 2025. I'll entertain a motion for a public hearing 2025-100032 to approve amending the relevant ordinances for the adult-use marijuana facilities within the city limits as proposed by the Law Director's Office and recommend it to full City Council. Is that appropriate, Mr. Bruning?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Panowski, second by Mr. Aden. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you, Assistant Law Director and Law Director. We have item number 8, there are no Planning Commission cases. Item number 9 is your summary of reports of design review applications that have been approved by the design review staff to the commission. Are there any questions on any of those? Okay. Any staff or commission reports? Seeing none. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 6, 2025, and again, we will have a update from Mr. Farkas, Mr. Schoening on the zoning update map, and we'll discuss that or have an update on that at that time. So if seeing no further business before this body, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Aden, second by Mr. Hubbard. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.